Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series.
Hey guys, it's Adam here, and as I've said all fucking month, I was in the UK for a while. I know how exciting you guys are. You must be sick of it, but please don't be. There's so much more good gaming shit ahead of us. If you've been following the channel recently, as I said, I went to the UK, and while I was on my family vacation there, I had the opportunity afforded to me to check out a few game stores in the areas nearby. And typically what I would do is meet up with a friend of mine who I would know through YouTube, etc. And they would take me to some game stores. And the first few, which I've already done a bunch of videos on, I highly recommend you check those out. I met up with a buddy of mine named Raymond. After I was done hanging out with him, I went up to Nottingham. Now Nottingham is basically it's famous for being like the place where Robin Hood takes place. You know, Sherwood Forest and all that. It is Sherwood Forest, right? I don't remember ever hearing that. I think that's what Disney taught me. Sorry if that's wrong. But anyway, I went there and met up with a guy named Ben. He's another YouTuber. His name is, he goes by the name Shen Muso. He's one of my favorite YouTube personalities. And the Shenmue thing, it's his favorite game, it's my favorite game. Turns out that's a massive coincidence. That was never really part of why we liked each other's content. But yeah, I met up with him, and he just said, "All right, yeah, I'll take you to some cool game stores." Now, the way he described Nottingham is that it in of itself is at the center of what is called the Midlands in the UK, and there's nothing there as far as game stores. So it's just a center point, and what you got to do is you hop a train to other areas, and you can go to game stores there, and then you get a train back to the center point, which is Nottingham. Sorry if that's wrong. I'm operating off of memory based on what he said. Again, I'm not from there. I apologize. But yeah, the first one he took me to was a store called Gotham Games. This is a bag from Gotham Games. This is all I got there. Thank you guys for watching. No, I'm just kidding. I got some actual stuff. And that's what I want to do. I want to show you guys some of these pickups that I got, rather than show you all of everything I got collectively in my time in the UK and Portugal in one video at the end of the month, because that would be insane. So this way we can take our time with it and have more fun. So I was over there with the primary intention of getting exclusives. So, you know, you don't go overseas to pick up stuff you can get down the street, you know what I mean? So I formulated a list, and I've shown you guys this beat up shitty list a few times now. One side is all Sega Saturn games, and the other side is a bunch of other stuff. Now, the Sega Saturn stuff, you know, you don't care. You guys have heard me talk about that a bunch of times. All you need to know is that there are 32 Sega Saturn European games that I was after, and thanks to Gotham Games, I was able to track down a few more. It's a cool store. I would recommend it if you are ever in that area. I mean, the UK, again, is not a particularly huge place, so if you are up for a pilgrimage, I would look into Gotham Games. But if you're more curious, I did a video of a tour of that place already. Feel free to go and take a look. They have a Facebook page as well that you can check out. Unfortunately, I didn't get to spend as much time there as I would have liked, just because of, again, the nature of the way that Nottingham Midlands area is kind of laid out. You know, Ben was like, all right, we can go there for a little bit, and then we got to get on another train and go back here, and then we have to get on another train and go here. You know, there just wasn't a lot of time to stay in any one place, so I didn't get to really talk to the owners that much, but I still had a good experience there, and I do recommend it if you ever get the chance. So, without any further ado, let's talk about these pickups. Like I said, Sega Saturn! So let's see what I did actually find. I got Formula Karts Special Edition. Just a racing game, but you use those little buggy cart type of things. I mean, I guess they are called Formula Karts. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, the case isn't in the best of shape. I should have listened to Ben on this one. I didn't pay much attention to him. I mean, I did, but he didn't really tell me at the right time, and I didn't think to look for it later. What he had suggested is that I should have bought like a sports game and just swap the case out. I've mentioned this before. The European cases for Sega Saturn stuff is terrible. This is the better of the two kinds. Well, I think there's three kinds technically, but the majority of them came in one of two ways. And this is one of those two ways, the better one. It's basically like a jumbo DVD case, but not as well constructed. And around the side of it, it has like, you know, a thin layer of plastic as DVD cases do. And unfortunately, this one is like chewed up a bit in a lot of places and stuff. So he'd recommended I should have bought a sports game and just swapped it out, but I didn't end up doing it. I still could. I have a copy of Jonah Lomu Rugby that I could swap out for that. So I probably will do that just because this is more interesting to me than Jonah Lomu Rugby. But yeah, nevertheless, the point was, found this game. And then I found one of them in the horrible, terrible case, Darius 2, which I was really happy to find because that's not a super common one. So to just see it on a shelf like that was pretty neat. Now, if you didn't see my other video in which I talked about these cases, the reason they're terrible in a nutshell is, think about a DVD case, right? I'm sure you guys got one around, or a Blu-ray case, or hell, an Xbox 360 case, whatever. You got something. What you notice about it is that it has like a piece of paper, right, on the inside of the case, and then a layer of plastic around it protecting said piece of paper, right? What if someone had decided, you know what, screw that, tear that outside layer of plastic off, and take the paper and just glue it to the case? Yes, that would be our case. Enter European Sega Saturn cases. That's exactly what they are. The paper is completely exposed at all times. Fucking terrible design. And on top of that, the clasp system doesn't work for shit. Terrible, terrible cases. To the point where Sega officially was putting pieces of tape on them just to hold them together. It was terrible pieces of shit design. But the point was that I found Darius 2, which is a relatively uncommon European exclusive Saturn game, so I was very happy to find that. Moving on though, that was the only Saturn stuff I managed to find, and that's a thrill in itself, because Saturn stuff, finding it there isn't any easier than it is finding it here, you know what I mean? It's just difficult. So, if you saw that other video, I mentioned that I found a PS3 game. Oh yes, I was happy about that, because beforehand I looked into various consoles and all the exclusives that you could find over there, and I weeded out stuff that I didn't care about, aka sports games, for the most part. Like, you know, I wasn't over there to find a PS3 version of like Championship Edition Football 2009. That didn't matter to me. Unlike the Saturn, I ain't going for a full set of that stuff. So I was just into ones that I thought I might actually play or would be interesting for one reason or another. Now the game I ended up picking up, which I'll show you in a moment, is not technically an exclusive. We actually did get it released here. So why would I get a European copy? Well, I'll show you. The one I got was called Ratchet & Clank: The Quest for Booty. Now some of you, there may be like 4 of you out there who instantly know why this is exciting, and the rest of you are like, get the fuck on with it! Why do I care? The reason you might care is because when this was released in North America, all we got was a digital version. This never had a physical release in North America, but in Europe it did. Full physical release, no bullshit DuckTales style case with a piece of paper inside that says here's your download code, none of that crap. It's a fully functional disc. And the PS3 is region free, save for one game, which is Persona 4 Arena. That's, for some reason that game isn't, but the rest all are. So this plays here, no problem. Now the reason that really excites me, if you're new to this channel, or if you somehow missed it, if you've been watching me for a while, I am not a supporter of digital content. Digital games, you know, stuff you download and play that way. I don't like that. It's just never been something I could get behind because it ruins my personal gaming experience. I do not feel that if you don't have a physical copy of the game that you ever really truly feel like you own it. You know, to me, gaming isn't just the entertainment part of playing the game. It's also, it's a form of art. It's something to appreciate the value of in the physical presence. You know, I value not only the game, but I value what the disc looks like, what the case looks like, what the artwork is, what the manual is like, etc. Those are all very important to me as a gamer. That a lot of you are sitting there laughing like, "Fuck you! I love Steam. I love doing it that way." This is my personal opinion, and it has nothing to do with. You could download every game ever and never own a single physical thing, and your gaming experience will still be the best shit ever because it's yours. It's your opinion. It's what matters to you. And in my opinion, if a game isn't physical, then I just can't get behind it. And it sucks sometimes. It really does, because there are a lot of great independent games that come out that I would fucking love to play, but I just, without a physical release, they just don't really ever push me over and entice me. I mean, there's plenty of other stuff in the world that I can get a full sense of appreciation out of because it meets all that criteria. So I'm not really starving for games exactly, you know what I'm saying? So, point is, very happy this got released in a physical form in the UK because there's no language barrier, there's no region coding, and here it is right there in the flesh for me to enjoy. And the cool thing about it actually is it says right on the front, a Ratchet & Clank mini adventure, meaning they knew this was going to be a digital-only game in North America, and they just decided, Europe, give it a physical release. What the hell? I love when they do that. That's when I will support stuff like indie stuff and you know, little smaller, shall we call them arcade type of games, as that's been the modern term, not so much like the 80s, you know, arcade where you go in and put quarters. The modern version of an arcade seems to be the digital arena, as it were. I love when those get physical releases, and I can't wait to support them. Now, the funny thing about this one, though, in addition to that, is that it was, I don't know if they're aware that it's, like, rare for that reason, but every single store I went to did not have it. You know, I kept asking every place I went. It was like, no, I'm sure we do, maybe, but no, we don't have it. And they could never find it. And even after I found it at Gotham Games, which I was really happy about it, I think it was only like £5. It wasn't even valuable. It wasn't expensive. It was just hard to find. Even after that, I went to a bunch of other game stores. You know, not just, I went to more like vintage stores like this, never found it. I went to the more bigger name ones like Game, which is basically the European, or well, the British equivalent of GameStop. Couldn't find it at any of those. I couldn't find it anywhere. It was just Gotham Games that had one copy of it, and I was very happy to get it. So there you go. That's my one and only PS3 pickup from Europe, and I gotta say I am not disappointed with that pickup. Moving on. Sorry about the jump cut there. Alright, so I was in post-production watching this segment of the video, which you're not seeing, because I was talking about the N64. I already have one. There are 4 PAL exclusives. I already have one. I picked up 2 at Super Tomato, and I was going to get the last one here, or that was what I thought I had done at Gotham Games. Unfortunately, I screwed up and bought the wrong game. The game I bought was F1 World Grand Prix. F1 World Grand Prix 2 is an exclusive. The first one is not. It came out in North America as well. Oops, my bad. So why would I have made that mistake? Well, it was because the other game that's exclusive is something like F1 World Racing Championship or something like that. So, I fucked it. I fucked up. And I regret it wholeheartedly. But at least the game was only £1, so it's not that big of a loss. So yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out for that last exclusive at some point. If anybody has it and they don't want it, and you want me to complete my PAL set, no, you don't have to actually do that, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I apologize for the jump cut, and I apologize for this one! So the final pickup here, and I know we're already down to the last one, it's exciting. The last one is pretty cool. And before I show it to you, I just want to tell you the story of how it came to be. Now, I mentioned before I was there with my friend Ben Shenmuso, who's in the video. Check him out. And check out his channel. I'm serious. Go check out his channel. We gotta make that dude make more videos. You have no choice, dude. Ben, I went over there. You have no choice. I saw you shoot the videos. You have to make more content, especially with all the people that are about to come there and get pissed off if you don't. Guys, get on his ass. Make sure he makes more videos. Anyway, so we're in there. And we were looking at this like cabinet. You know, like a lot of these used game stores have like a glass case type of thing where they keep expensive games, rare games, or stuff that can be stolen easily. So you can see any wide range of things in there. You can see just generic, you know, $1 bargain bin Game Boy Advance stuff, all the way up to like Panzer Dragoon Saga. You never know what you're going to see in those types of things. So we're staring there looking at something, and Ben is in the middle of a sentence, and he just stops dead in mid-conversation. It was something effective like, oh yeah, I've seen that. That's basically what happened to him. And I'm just like, you alright? What's going on? And he didn't really say anything. And then he just kind of slowly lifts his arm and he goes, mate, they have body count. And I was like, it means nothing to me. Now, Ben's a huge Mega Drive collector, Mega Drive / Genesis. Even though that's my second favorite console, I was never really an avid collector of it. But he is. And so he was just, you know, staring at it, just dead emotionally almost. It was crazy to watch. And I was like, well, is it rare or something? He just sits there for like 10 seconds in silence. And then he just goes, I don't know what to do. And I was like, what do you mean? Just get it. What I told him, or what I'm telling you now, is there are rules when you are game hunting with people. If the person you're with spots something like that, they have first dibs. I don't care how much you want it, the person you're with has first dibs if they see it first. Those are just the rules. So that means he had total first dibs on this thing. He knew what it was, he saw it first, etc. So he just goes like, that's a really expensive game. That's body count. That's like he said boxed and complete, that's like a 200-pound game, or yeah, 200 pounds I think is what he said. Very valuable game. It might be less than that. It might be maybe 100 pounds, 150 pounds, something like that. But point is, expensive game. And I was like, well, fucking get it. What are you waiting for? Because what the price was 10 pounds. 10 pounds. That's like $17 or $18 US. And I was like, for something that valuable, dude, you've got to pull the trigger. And he just sits there again for another like 10 seconds of silence, and then just goes, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I was like, what do you mean you can't do it? You know how much it's worth. You see it right there. It's something you want. What are you waiting for? And he just goes, it's a loose cart. Which it was. It was a loose cartridge. It did not have the box and the manual, which violated his own personal game hunting rules. He needs the box and the case and everything. And I was like, yeah, but make an exception, man. Like, that's so valuable. Why would you pass on that? Because even loose cart, that thing's worth like $100. And I was like, you got to do it. And he just... it's like he was struggling internally, and he just went, oh, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it. I can't break my rule, I can't. And I was like, well, no props to you, man. Do you mind if I get it? And he was like, nah, man, you go ahead, you can get it. And then, of course, I did the American thing. I was like, can you check and see if it's exclusive? I had him look up on his phone, see if it was an exclusive game. Little side note here, if you're visiting another country, and this includes even if you're an American visiting Canada, or vice versa, your phone does not work there unless you're willing to pay a shit ton of extra money to make it work there. So I saw no need for that, since I had a friend who was from there, and he had a phone that worked. So he looked it up, and found out, yeah, the game was exclusive. So I went ahead and I picked it up. Body count right here. It was intended to be released in North America, but was canceled according to all the information I could find. It's a Menacer game, which is like a big light gun thing. I have one. It's pretty cool, I guess. Doesn't work on modern televisions, of course. They actually have a picture of the Menacer on the artwork here, which is kind of cool. But yeah, loose cart. It was an okay game. I played it with a controller. It probably would be more fun with the actual Menacer, but whatever. Point is, this was probably the biggest surprise pickup of the entire trip because of how valuable it is, and I had no idea what it was, didn't know anything about it, had no plans on getting it, walked away with it. In theory, if I were to sell it, it would actually pay for a good chunk of my pickups overall, so not bad. And thank you, Ben, for passing up on it so that I could get it, but I still think you probably should have pulled the trigger on this one. But yeah, so that was it. That was all my that was my adventure at Gotham Games. That's everything I picked up there. I highly recommend you check it out if you ever get the chance. And check out Ben's channel. I'm serious. Go check him out. He's a cool dude. And in his latest round of videos, I will be in them if I'm not already there. At some, in some of them. I know we shot a bunch. I don't know what order he's releasing them in, etc. But you'll see me in some stuff. So I highly recommend you go and check it out. And that's really it, guys. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for what will inevitably be another type of tour video with Ben. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.